December 28th, 2020. I always want to make a record of the day, the timestamp. Especially when I talk about my predictions of the future. I know I'm not the only person that makes predictions, and I'm not the only person that's been called a false prophet. And a false prophet is somebody that has a script, was offered their own island over in Hawaii. They pretend that they knew, things are going to happen because they got some special revelation from God. And then when you actually hear that somebody did get a special revelation from God, you're not going to believe them. So I don't expect anybody to believe me except for the people that believe me. They believe me and I believe them. That's what the true revelation is all about. There was some kind of contestant game show that was talked about beforehand, and then it was executed in the world, and this is what we're in right now. So there's a competition going. It's a speaking in tongues test. It's an IQ test. When they show you images, like what do you see in this image? And a lot of times you can see whatever you want, really. But when you can see what they're trying to get past you, if you can see in their images what you're not supposed to see, but you can, and then they can't get it past you, you're the person they want to talk to. The spirit inside of that gentleman told him to put his mask up when he walks by an alien without one. And that's what this entire beast system has done to people. It's turned them into paranoid people. I've been called paranoid before too. Like I'm paranoid that these events are going to happen. Nah, not paranoid whatsoever. Actually looking forward to it so we can move past the pretending of everybody. Everybody can stop pretending and you can just be truthful. But it looks like some buildings have to get blown up in order for that to happen. Because that guy, what was his name? Anthony something? Anthony wanted to get people's attention by blowing up some buildings, but not killing anybody. He didn't harm anybody. And the only 3 people that got injured, it wasn't even a real injury. It's not that they're lying, it's just that those 3 ribs were in the mouth, and that's who devoured the 3 that were injured. They still had their lives. They just had their power stripped, dominion, I believe it says. I was considering that it might not happen anymore. I love this area. Like, I don't ever get tired of walking through there. But I was considering that, nah, they're not gonna do the second 9/11 because it's so obvious that they will, that how can they? But then that's just me wishful thinking. Like as if they were really going to do that. Wishful thinking. So I started to think, well, they're probably just going to cancel it because it's way too obvious. You can't continue on with something like that when it's known by anybody. And then I seen this event happen over in Nashville, and it demonstrated to me that you can cause a demolition and not tell anybody, like not tell the general public, but also not hurt anybody legitimately, and get your point across without anybody dying. Well, they already did that. It's called the first 9/11. They got their point across without anybody dying. The ones that did die, they're the ones that they accepted. Here's what they probably accepted. You have to die to this world here because you're not going to be known anymore. You get your own island because there's many of them. And you live carefree for the rest of your life. That's literally what they did. Whether they had an island or not sure. But they definitely were offered something that they could not refuse. And because of that, they're living large right now. They're just not in this world. Now, maybe they might even just be dressed up at move to a different state if they're not really that well known. Who knows? I mean, who knows? Who knows exactly what they did? Because who's the one that gave them their contracts? And what they accepted is whose contract? I think this is a torch. This would be different talking to people out loud if there were people, like if all my subs were here just hanging out and I had something to say and then everybody would just listen. That would be a weird feeling because I'm not used to talking directly in front of people, although I know I am and I will at one point. But ultimately, I'm talking to myself uninterrupted. That's why it's easier to get the message across to you on the other end because I'm uninterrupted. And it's easier for me to continually speak it because I'm uninterrupted. Nobody's interrupting me. Nobody's arguing with me as I'm talking. So yeah, people try to distract you. Like in the last video, it was kind of evident that it was just all about, I'm on a recording, it's 33 minutes long, and if you can get there in time, you can get on, like you're watching through the camera as to where I'm recording at the exact time I'm recording. So I would do the same thing. I would just make it obvious because it's fun. Is that wrong? Is that so wrong? To put a guy there in a red jacket and just have him basically almost you might as well just start doing jumping jacks. That would have been, I would have made him do something like that. And the other guy pulls up blasting his radio. But again, that could just be a normal thing, just not planned out by anybody. That's why I don't attach feelings to it one way or another. If anything, I'll attach good feelings to it, where it'll make me chuckle because I see it. And if it's just nobody just doing whatever normally, then so be it. But man, I'm just talking to my damn self this entire time. I would have never thought. When you look at the reality of it, where am I? I'm at the art museum. It's my lunch break. And I freely roam where I want to roam. But I talk to myself, and the cameras are there. See the camera is there. The cameras they're just everywhere. But it's not like they can't hear you anyway, because when you have a recording right below your chin, they who and what, they can hear you. So that's who's been listening all this time when I've been talking to myself. I mean, I thought I was talking to myself. Then I realized I'm not talking to myself. But it's been quite an experience to be talking to people that I didn't know at the time that I was. And then, is this real glass? Nah, it couldn't be. They would get sued every day. Ah, mommy. I see something going on over here with these symbols, this pyramid. So we have a couple more days until the new year. They're only buildings that they built. They built the buildings and they just want to destroy them because I guess it's fun. The first 9/11, they put a lot of fear into the world. The second 9/11 can be more heroic than anything else. It can be where it's like it's prevented. The entire thing is prevented because it's like, all right, play the script where, well, first of all, if you put that on top of that, or you put that, or you take that upside down and go there, it'll fit. It fits. So take the script where you were warned about it because someone had a thought in their head that something might happen like that, and then they told the public, and they made sure that nobody was there around that time because it's New Year's. It's New Year's Day. Most people are going to be probably just getting ready to go to sleep. But it was prevented by the warning. And that would be a heroic action if they actually believed it and took it serious and made sure that just nobody was around at that time. But then wouldn't you be able to prevent the bomber from dropping the bomb if you were told what time he was going to be there, the actor? The guy that specializes in technology and electronics and bomb setting off equipment. Remember, everybody is a complete professional. Every last person involved is a professional at what they do. So all they're doing now is just showing you how they can professionally tell you the truth. Who would have ever thought that you can blow up buildings an entire block and nobody dies, except for the person that does it? And on top of that, he's a kind-hearted suicide bomber that really cared for other people, but he just didn't want to live his life anymore. This is the theme. This is the script. All I ever try to do is figure it out before it happens. Because then I can get credit and say, well, God told me. Like, huh? Yeah, right. God, yeah, God. God told you. Well, I get help from human beings that tell me things. But ultimately, the Spirit has to... I mean, look, everybody that's responsible, they've been telling you how responsible they are for the events that took place and are going to take place. The only thing is, can you hear who's saying it? Do you know who is who? If you can find out who's saying it, and you're able to pinpoint the exact one, then you stay with that exact person or persons, and you pay more attention to them, and then you are able to, you got to filter out what's unimportant and who isn't worth paying attention to, because there's not enough information there. And then when you start getting information, well, that's what I've been getting. And I give a lot of credit to JK and his company. Even if I was supposed to get played, like, oh, Robin's gonna get played, watch. Yeah, no, I'm not getting played for anything. If I meet one person because of this, there's a reason why I met you in person. It's not because there's nothing that I have to offer. I've been offering everything. I've been giving it every day. That is my offer. I already gave it to you. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to finally, even though you've already taken it, because I can say you can take it or leave it, you've already taken it. It's just now you're going to take it to the next level, which is just announce it that, yeah, I was paying attention to Robin the most, because he was kind of explaining exactly what I was showing, and that's what it is. This is what it is. This is why on Christmas Day you did see a bombing. Just wasn't in Philadelphia, but that's the precursor for Philadelphia coming up. I couldn't be any more confident about it now because of seeing more how the script is played out and how the dragon can make sure that you have, the dragon can make sure that he'll show you how people are able to not die with all that mass destruction. He's proven it. Same thing happened the first 9/11. Second 9/11 is no different. Is it going to be scarier? Nah, that depends. I mean, what side are you on? If you see that happening, and 18 minutes. If you see that happen, I'm going to say when you see it, but I always reserve the if and when, or if you do on that exact day, and it happens like that, because that it's either the script or it was written in to become the script. So they're the only two things that you can consider. Either I got it right, or they wrote it in, or it was similar and they altered a few details, because maybe my logic made a little bit more sense, or they're just gonna cater to me because I did all the hard work and it was very similar, so they're just like, you know what, let's just give it to them. Whatever, doesn't matter what floor we say we put the image on, we just aim the image to the floor and push the button, and there goes the airplane, and then push the other recording of what we already recorded with the pilot losing control, and then push that other button to explode this. And then when you're ready, push all the detonating buttons and let it drop down. And obviously nobody dies unless you've accepted some of that. Then you've died secretly. You were murdered secretly in your spirit because you took the deal. And you've helped to instill the fear in America by telling them that 2,977 people died. Well, they did die. They didn't lie to you. They died because they died to this world that they were once known in, like their career was hung up. Hollywood actors do it all the time. Rock stars, people that are in high known places, very well known. Prince started talking about chemtrails and all of a sudden he gets killed. Right, Prince, right. Michael Jackson, did he die at 52? George Michael, I think they all died at the age of 50, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know for sure, but around that age, definitely. You don't think they have their own island? How many of you are watching my channel right now? On your island? Because your boss made you hip to it. Like, yo, there's this, here, check this channel out. He keeps telling me what I'm doing. It's crazy. I can't even keep up with the information. It's too much. I just got to give him what he wants so we can move on, because I can't even keep up with him anymore. But that would be me being wishfully thinking, right? A filthy dreamer. But it's true. And I know it is. And JK over there knows it's true as well. And you're just gonna find out how true it's been. You want to talk about some redemption? My goodness. Why? Why, Rob? Because buildings blowing up? That's why you want to blow up buildings but not kill anybody? What's your point? What point are you going to make with that? Well, the point is, there's a truth, there's a faith story for 3.5 years when I had zero understanding of who the hell is what, where, and when, and how, and why. But boy, did it make me sick. And then the story of finding that person that was making me sick. I found the person that made me sick. And then I realized, wow, you're also responsible for gang stalking me too and making my life as difficult as possible. I'm blaming it on you. But did you make my life as difficult as possible? Or did you help strengthen my life as much as possible? It depends on how you take it. Do you love your enemies, or do you hold grudges against them for stuff that they did not know? Aren't you supposed to forgive them, Father? Because they didn't know what they were doing, but they did know what they were doing. They knew their first true love and they turned. Yeah, it's stages of people where they're at, the churches, the mindset. It's created these days now. It's being surveilled to find out the exact details of everything. So this is happening now. And there was a time period. The time period for these 3.5 years of trying to figure out what everything is. And within my first year, I think that's when Steve tried to reel me in with gematria. And he did pretty quickly, because he mentioned Harold Camping's name. He knew that would be the bait. And then I just started learning from there. Like, these people know what's going to happen in the world, and like, Steve was hounding me to worship him, because once I started realizing, nah, you're kind of full of crap there, buddy. Yeah, you're going to see a train wreck if failure to communicate. Where's that train wreck, Steve? So I'm not afraid of anybody and anything. Now, I had fear back then, but I walked through it. That's the trial, the fire, being refined through the fire. And so now we're at the end. In the end, the person responsible for all this, I found them. But I can't prove it. But it will be more provable New Year's Day. Or maybe not, nothing, just everything continues on as it is. And they wait 3 more days. But who knows? I don't know. I would just suggest that anybody that's in Philadelphia on January 1st, 2021, just keep a close eye out. I'm sure you won't be able to get away from it. I mean, it'll dominate the world news. Not so much like the Nashville thing didn't, really. Because I asked a coworker today, like, you hear about the bomb? He said, huh, what? No, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, where? You living under a rock? But it's because when something has the name attached to it, like second 9/11, that's going to get around, the news is going to get around the world really fast. The other thing that would get across really fast is the fact that there's somebody on YouTube that predicted that exact same thing 7 days after the bomber hit Nashville, which is gonna, the idea would be the fear idea pushed would be, all right, Robin, you wanna take us down? Fine. Go ahead, predict it. We know it's going to happen. And then when it happens, guess who's going to jail forever? There's no way you're getting out. Well, maybe that's probably what the idea is supposed to be. But because I've gotten to this point all the way after 3.5 years, and I didn't do it vindictively, or I honestly did it without really knowing what I'm doing. A lot of things I'll just say, and I don't even know that it's actually, not that it's true, it's always true in my mind, but true where it's a connection to what I'm being shown is revealed, and then I connect it to the image that I see, and that's the interpretation of it. And this is a continual thing that just keeps happening that Click can't keep track of. I can't keep track of it either. I just make the videos, push record, put it out there, and go to the next thoughts. I really wouldn't have much to say if there wasn't a similar bombing that happened on Christmas. That happened at the exact time of the 6th hour. That was that's pretty close. Let's just be real here. That was pretty damn close. It was a Christmas bombing that I was expecting to be in Philly in the 6th hour, but it was at 6:30 exactly. And I did expect the skies to be darkened for at least 3 hours of bomb smoke filled skies, and it was dark for 3 hours at least because the cars were on fire. They even said how unusual that is because they're so far spaced apart that they're still on fire. And there's no main explosion in the center. But it was something that happened on Christmas Day, and so now just my mind won't stop with the similarities and what I was talking about before that script was actually played out in the world to see in Nashville, that it was also tied into nobody dying at all. I'm telling you nobody's dying, and then they tell you nobody died, and it was a warning within 15 minutes. I mean, he kept healing people, and it took like 15 minutes and they were healed. So that was pretty amazing. And it just, the similarities keep happening, and the connection of it. So the fear would be Well, Robin, if you want to predict what's going to happen, what we're doing, and you can see it, then go ahead and predict it, and see ya. See ya. You're going to jail for predicting that what we're going to do. Where'd that get you? Well, it's going to land me in jail, but I get out because I can prove the truth. Obviously, I'm here to proving it. I made it this far by just proving truth to whoever's watching and getting graded on it. And the grade is, it's a high grade in the science class. This is a class of IQ test. Can you, like, what is your IQ? I don't even know what my IQ would be, or if it is. I don't even know the numbers of what it's supposed to be. I don't care. But it is an IQ test. And it's a test of, can you interpret what our vision is? Can you tell us what we plan on doing in the world? And then can you interpret why? You have to tell us what we're doing in the world and why. And that would be equivalent to knowing what the king's dream is and interpreting it without him even telling you what his dream is. So I guess this is the part where I'm going to make fire come down from heaven. I'm going to ask the 450 false prophets to meet me on that day, you know, in the spirit, New Year's Day, and see if fire actually comes down from heaven in the image of an airplane that lost control and lost communications because it was a pilot. Pilot lost control. Pilot and Herod, they become like good buddies at the end of this thing. So that's cool. That's good to know, because that feels like at least peace between those two. And weren't they like the main ones in charge? It's a good thing Nicodemus came to Christ at night, because he was able to exchange gifts one to another for quite some time. And then when it was time to give the power over to the Lion of the tribe of Judah, then that's what happens. And that's what's going to happen. There could be a psych. There could be a psych. Just kidding. But man, are the similarities with that bombing on Christmas in the 6th hour, darkness of the skies for 3 hours. When you have JK mentioning those things as well on his video of that same day, he seen my title beforehand.